What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool news video where we will talk about Liverpool's brand new 17-year-old centre-back bigger than Virgil van Dijk, and we will also explore the possibilities that Liverpool will have for the new season. Do you think Liverpool need to sign another centre-back? Legend Lovren'S was sold to Zenit a few weeks back, so now Liverpool have just 3 senior centre-backs, Virgil van Dijk, Joel Matip and Joe Gomez, but we also have Nathaniel Phillips and Billy Koumetio, the guy in focus, and we will take a look at both of them and whether Liverpool can cope with the whole season with just 3 senior centre-backs and 2 younger centre-backs. And Phillips is actually also a better player than what he gets credit for, because he was competing in a Stuttgart side which has some very good talented centre-backs, and he played more than half of the games for Stuttgart on their quest for promotion to the Bundesliga, and in the end they got promoted and Phillips was a major part in that. So let me know guys, this is the main topic of the video. Should Liverpool sign another centre-back? I mean, if you look at other teams, they are signing centre-backs like crazy. Man City signed Nathaniel Ake. Chelsea are on the verge of signing Thiago Silva from Paris Saint-Germain, and they just announced that they signed Malang Sarr from Nice on a free transfer, but they will loan him out for 1 season before he joins them. And Arsenal are getting Saliba from Saint-Etienne. They already signed him 1 year earlier, and they also signing Gabriel Magalhaes, another very talented centre-back. So I think that Liverpool need a centre-back, but it's just a case whether we can find a young talented centre-back who can fit into the Liverpool mold. So meet Billy Kumatillo, who is at just 17 years old, already 6'3" tall, and that's very hard to ignore. He is bigger than Van Dijk, and he actually impressed Jurgen Klopp and many Liverpool fans during Liverpool's pre-season 2 games. And Jurgen Klopp said this about him: Billy the kid, he doesn't look like a kid, his face looks like a kid, but then all the rest is wow, what a big guy. And also guys, if you enjoy these Liverpool videos, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell notifications so you never miss the latest Liverpool transfer news updates. So normally Kumatillo would be playing with the Liverpool under-23s, but because Liverpool are a little bit short with the centre-back options, because we have still Matip out injured, and also because we sold Lovren'S, and also Jurgen Klopp is very keen to see why the Liverpool Academy staff are so enthusiastic about this towering teenager. So he wanted to check Kumatillo out himself, and he has been actually very impressive. He may have only played half of the second half, of course, in some of the preseason games. His performance was an eye-catching one against Stuttgart. He attacked the ball, he won his headers, he competed physically, and he passed the ball impressively off his left foot. And of course at Kirkby, at Liverpool's youth academy, they know all about Kumatillo's potential. From the moment he arrived on Merseyside, signed from French minnows Orléans in the summer of 2018, he was earmarked as a one centre-back to keep a close eye on. That was down to his talent and of course to his physicality. Not many young footballers are built like him, but also his personality. He's bright, he's outgoing, he's inquisitive. Kumatillo has made a big impression on Liverpool staff off the field. His English is actually perfect. He's able to take on board the advice given to him by coaches about his game, and that's just 17 years old. That's very impressive. And this is what was said about Kumatillo by some of the Liverpool staff. He wants to work hard, and that stands out. Everyone loves Billy. He's just one of those lads. On the pitch, I am really competitive, he said, Kumatillo himself. Everyone loves Billy. And off the pitch, I would say I'm a happy person, always happy. I smile all the time, even if things don't go very well. And do you remember that bonkers League Cup game where Liverpool drew with Arsenal 5-5? Billy Kumatillo went on the bench in that game. And also he was a ball boy where Liverpool beat Barcelona 3-0 at Anfield. And this is what he said about that night: it was amazing, unbelievable, it was a great experience for me. When I was sitting so close to the pitch and saw the big boys, they really inspired me. And this is what Jurgen Klopp said about Kumatillo and his prospects in Liverpool's first team. I'm pretty sure that Billy will make big steps. We just have to make sure that we really deal with his age group and physical demands well. Jurgen Klopp has already held at least 2 one-on-one sessions with the youngster, working on positioning and tactical understanding. Liverpool's defensive system requires a high line, constant front foot play and maximum concentration. You have to engage, you have to build attacks, you have to back yourself, you have to learn fast. Koumetio is relatively new to the centre-back role. He was a left winger and a left back at Lyon, his hometown club, before moving into the centre-back position as an under 14 player. I think it was because of my height, but now I'm very happy because I think it's my best position and it's just better for me to play as a centre-back. With the likes of Van Dijk alongside him in training, opportunities to learn and develop, of course, should be plentiful. And Kumatillo said, sometimes I'm trying to copy Van Dijk. Of course, he will return to the under-23s for the start of the campaign, but Liverpool know that if there is an injury crisis at centre-back, then Koumetio can be called upon, and who knows, if he impresses in the rest of the pre-season training, then he could be an option for Liverpool. And certainly long term we need to watch out for him, and I'm really hoping that Koumetio will be in FIFA 21, because it would be amazing to develop him into a world-class centre-back, and in 5-6 years he could be Liverpool's first choice centre-back. And of course Liverpool will monitor his development closely, in particular his growth and how he adjusts to his frame. The tools are there technically and physically, but the late teens are a crucial period of development for any young player, and the staff are aware there will be peaks and troughs to come. The signs though are overwhelmingly positive so far. He's a big talent, it's good for us to see him, and I expect Koumetio to be a big player for Liverpool in the future. So Liverpool are already in a tough situation in terms of their centre-backs, because Joel Matip is out injured. He will miss the Community Shield and he is doubtful for the Premier League opener against Leeds. And the sale of Lovren'S to Zenit means that Jurgen Klopp is relying on Van Dijk and Joe Gomez to stay fit for the next like 3 or 4 weeks until Matip is back. And both Gomez and Matip are prone to pick up knocks and injuries during the season, and if 2 of them are out at the same time, then Liverpool face a massive problem. Do we bring in Nathaniel Phillips, who might be good, but is he ready to play in a Premier League team which basically needs to win every game to win the title? And no wonder that Jurgen Klopp, momentarily at least, looked so concerned when Virgil van Dijk got injured and got a cut to his eye. Thankfully it's not serious. Liverpool have already added, of course, one defender, the left back Tsimikas, to their squad, but there is little indication at this stage that Liverpool will target a new centre-back before the transfer window closes, and that's a big gamble by Liverpool to go in with just 3 senior centre-backs. Does Jurgen Klopp trust Nathaniel Phillips that much that he would rely him for to be 4th choice centre-back? I mean, he's a talented player, but is he good enough? That's the big question. I think Jurgen Klopp can judge that more than most, because he probably watched a lot of games where Phillips played for Stuttgart, who are no mugs. They have some very talented centre-backs, some future German internationals played for Stuttgart last season, so it's a big question whether Phillips is ready. Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool are big fans of Ben White, who impressed on loan at Leeds from Brighton last season, but his valuation is in excess of £30 million, and I'm not sure that Liverpool are willing to spend that amount on a centre-back. Perhaps another centre-back, Ben Godfrey of Norwich, he may be a little bit more obtainable. The 22-year-old was part of a defense that conceded 75 goals in the Premier League, and that is a little bit concerning. And Joel Matip only played 13 games last season. That is cause for concern. Both Gomez and Matip are prone to pick up injuries. Neither of them have ever reached 30 league games for Liverpool, and it is unlikely that Nathaniel Phillips, who turned 23 in March, and ended last season on the bench at Stuttgart, will be around when the window closes. It looks like Liverpool will loan him out. And I think then, if Liverpool loans Phillips out, we have to bring in another centre-back. There is no other way. We can't go into the season with just 3 senior centre-backs. And yes, we have Kumatillo and Sepp Vandenberg, but we are trying to loan them out as well. Koumetio is just 17 years old. Phillips might not be cut out for a Liverpool first team squad spot. That's ultimately the decision of Jurgen Klopp. And Jurgen Klopp himself said previously many times that he likes to have 4 centre-backs at his club, and even with 4 centre-backs a situation can happen, which happened to Liverpool previously, that 3 of them gets injured at the same time and you are left with just 1 centre-back and you have to bring in Fabinho or Henderson from the midfield. But that disrupts the midfield, and that disrupts the front line and the whole Liverpool team. So it's not an ideal scenario, an ideal situation. And I really hope that Liverpool can spend some money and sign a new centre-back. Of course, we won't sign a centre-back as good as Van Dijk, because we just don't have the money for that. But a centre-back signing like Joel Matip on a free transfer from Schalke, or Ragnar Klavan, a very low fee transfer from, I think it was Augsburg, that's the kind of transfer that Liverpool should be going for the new season. And of course, Jurgen Klopp has been willing to use Fabinho as defensive cover in the past, as I already mentioned. But this is an emergency stopgap, not a long-term solution. For a club of Liverpool's ambitions, who want to win the Premier League and the Champions League, it would be a huge, serious gamble to go into the new season with just 3 senior centre-backs, with the more congested season, more games, more pressure, more risk of injuries. Lovren'S exit will certainly leave a gap, and one Liverpool would be wise to fill that gap before the transfer window shuts. Of course, Liverpool have until like October the 3rd to find that solution, to find that centre-back signing, but the clock is ticking, and I think Liverpool should bring in somebody sooner rather than later. We shouldn't wait until there is an emergency situation of both like Gomez and Matip being out injured, and then Liverpool are stuck with just 1 centre-back. We should plan for that. That's why we signed Tsimikas, to have a proper backup for Andy Robertson. So we should do the same with the centre-backs position. There is an absolute need to sign somebody to replace Lovren. And I would be even fine if Liverpool just said we are giving Nathaniel Phillips a chance to prove himself until January. He will play in the League Cup, in the FA Cup, maybe in some Premier League games as well when it's needed. And let's see how good he is in this environment. And if he's not good enough, we can always sign a centre-back in the January transfer window. But to loan him out and to loan Sepp Vandenberg, Kumatillo out, and just have 3 centre-backs for the new season would be unacceptable for me. That's my opinion. Virgil van Dijk also said that Liverpool will face the huge challenge of everybody wanting to beat them, wanting to take points off them in the new Premier League season. When you are the champions, everybody is going after you. Everybody wants to be the first team or the team that beats you and stops you from retaining your title. The Premier League is relentless, so I expect Liverpool to have incredibly hard games. And Virgil van Dijk said this: I think we have to see it as a big challenge. It is a new challenge for all of us. We are going to be in a position where everyone wants to beat Liverpool more than they did last year. We are going to be under a little bit more pressure, but we should enjoy that. You can be dominating a team for 70 minutes without really feeling like you have got them. To find the levels you are used to performing at is strange and difficult without fans being there. Usually the crowd gives you that sort of sense and gives the opposition that sense that they are in trouble. And that's a good point. Without fans, I think Liverpool will suffer more than most teams, because the Anfield crowd is such a powerful weapon in Liverpool's armory, something that Liverpool won't have for the first few months. Even though I just heard that when Brighton will play Chelsea in a pre-season friendly game, as a trial, as a test, they will let in 2,000 500 fans into the stadium, and of course they will be social distancing in the stands. The government and the Premier League allowed some games to have some fans, and if that test run goes well, then maybe in the new season we will see more and more fans being allowed back in the stadium. But of course we have to wait and see how that goes. Because in the Premier League there hasn't been some good news. Paul Pogba and Tanguy Ndombele, two very high-profile players, have actually tested positive for the virus, and they have been left out of the France national team squad. The news was confirmed earlier by France head coach Didier Deschamps after he announced the squad, and this is what Deschamps said. And it's very concerning that, you know, players who are going out on holiday and traveling have been contacting this disease. And also there has been a big scandal. Aaron Wan-Bissaka went to Dubai without the permission of Man United, and now he have to self-isolate for 2 weeks, and he will miss pre-season and potentially the start of the season of Manchester United. This is what Deschamps said. I had to make a last-minute change to the squad list because Paul Pogba was planned to be in this list, but unfortunately for him, he took a test yesterday which turned out to be positive today. So at the last minute he was replaced by Kamavinga. Everybody at Man United wishes Paul Pogba a speedy recovery ahead of the new season. That's a Man United statement that said the midfielder was unable to add to his 69 caps for France, and now Pogba will self-isolate for 14 days, which would rule him out of France's games, but he will be available for selection for Manchester United because they have a blank game week on game week 1 because of their participation in the Europa League semi-finals. And also, Chelsea's pre-season preparations have been disrupted meanwhile because Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham are among a number of players in quarantine after returning from their summer break. A group of the club's first team squad are following government guidelines on self-isolation. And of course, Chelsea face Brighton away on September the 14th in their first league fixture. And Chelsea are like playing career mode, it looks like. They are signing so many players. They already signed Hakim Ziyech, Timo Werner, Malang Sarr. They also signed Ben Chilwell for close to £50 million, which is an absolutely mind-blowing transfer. I mean, that's like Manchester City levels of spending on a fullback. So Chelsea have no excuses. If they are not in contention for the title this season, then they had a failed season. With the amount of money that they are spending, and they are also heavily linked with Kai Havertz, even David Alaba, and also Thiago Silva, the Paris Saint-Germain centre-back. So Chelsea are signing like 6-7 players, and that's a big risk. How can you gel the squad quickly for them to hit the ground running? I think their biggest signing is Timo Werner. He will just bring goals no matter what. But the big question is, can Chelsea mold a squad capable of challenging for the title this upcoming season? I'm really interested to find that out, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.